section 6.7, 556 or 60, we have this formula: distance is equal to speed multiplied by time, which is d equal s times t. So in case we need to find the speed by itself, we need to divide both sides by t. So then the speed is equal distance divided by time, or if you want to find time, we need to divide both sides by speed. So speed is distance over time, which distance is miles and time is hours. So if you drive a car, you deal with this formula every day. So when you drive it, let's say with 60 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour means miles per hour means distance divided by time. So if I drive 60 miles per hour within 2 hours, I have driven 120 miles. I'm sorry, 120 miles for the distance. All right, so, and if I drive it 80, then increase, the distance is 160 and so on. So if you notice here on this formula, let's look at the speed. Distance and time. On this one, when time, which is at the denominator, when time increase, speed reduce. By increasing the time, you're reducing the speed. And vice versa, when a speed increase, when a speed increase, time decrease. So it's when you go faster, it takes shorter to get to your destinations. Now, so in this case, when we say y varies directly with x, y vary directly with x means y is equal to k times x. K is the constant that we have to use. Anytime you write a formula, you need to use the constant. And our goal is to find that constant. Now, if we say y varies inversely with x, in that case, x has to be at the denominator. So when variation is directly, there is no fraction involved. When variation is inversely, then these two variables, one is at the denominator, the other one is at the numerator. So varies inversely means you have the fractions and the second variable is at the denominator, or vice versa. Now, y varies directly with a and inversely with b. So in that case, y is, since directly with a is at the numerator, and inversely with b means b has to be at the denominator. Okay, so you need to remember, directly is when your letter is at the numerator, inversely when your letter is at the denominator. Like area of the circle is pi r2, which you understand pi is 3.1415. Now, when the value of r is 1, when the radius is 1, when you substitute that here, 1 to power of 2 is 1 times pi is this. When r is 2, area increase. So you understand in this formula, first of all, is a direct. So when it's a direct, as one variable increase, the other variable which depend on that also increase. The number of 3.14 is the constant number. It doesn't change. That's value of decay that we were talking about. So there are, like in this formula, regardless what the value of r is, pi is always 3.14. So that's the constant variable you have here. It's never change. Or in formula of e to power of x, we have this in algebra. If e is called a Neperian number, is always constant, is 2.718, so on. This is also the constant. So e and pi both have the same function. They are constant number, they never change. And I'll show you some examples here. All right. Now, on the first problems, the homework is y varies directly as x. So when you say y varies directly as x, you just write y is kx. There is always a k. Our goal is to find the k first, so we could continue with the problem. To do that, we give you some information. We just say y is 5 when x is 20. So you take these two numbers and you substitute here. That gives you the value of k. When you find the value of k, you put that back into this formula. So this is your formula, 1/4 of x. Same thing here. Y varied directly as x. Again, y is kx. Y is 1, x is 1, 9. You substitute these two numbers here. So you could either cross multiply or multiply both sides by 9. If you multiply both sides by 9, also does the same thing. So k is 9. Then you put the k back here, and this is the formula that we're looking for. So our goal is to find the k and put it back in the formula. Now here is different. It said y varies inversely as x. Inversely means x has to be at the denominator. So again, these numbers are given. You put it back here. That gives you the k. Put it back here. This is your formula. Same thing here. Very similar to that. Inversely. So x is that denominator. Number 5. Y varies inversely as x. And then again, we give you these numbers. So these are some algebra calculations. And then number 6, pair of marking a set of distance apart are made in highways so that the police can detect driver exceeding the speed limit. Blah, blah, blah. R is 53 and T is 8 seconds. Again, here, you write a formula. R and T are given. You put those here, and that gives you the K by cross multiplications. K times 1 is K, 8 times 53. You put that back here. Now, when you do that, that gives you the value of the R. Number 7, it's intensity of I varies inversely as a square of the distance. Remember, square of the distance means d square. Again, square of the distance of d means d to power of 2. So you write a formula, and then it said, if the distance from the light source is 6 times the initial distance, means now instead of your distance is 6 times that, you put that instead. So that would make it 36d squared. Now, the ratio between these two is 36d squared. So the formula now is I equal k divided by 36d squared. And that one kind of explained here in these problems. Number 8, now you have multiple variations here. A varies jointly. When you say jointly, means you have more than one variable. A varies jointly as S and D. S and D both are direct variations, and you always have a K. Write this statement. R vary jointly as M and cube of T. See, both of them are direct. So, and there is always a K. Y varies directly as cube of X, okay? Now in these problems, then we give you some information to find a K. So you write a formula first, and then they tell you that Y is 16 and X is 4. So you put those numbers here, you find your K. Remember, when you find your K, you put it back into this equation to find your formula. So in this formula, we want you to find the K value. y varies directly as a square root of x. So you need to understand the difference between when we say, if we say square of x, then it's x2. If we say square root of x, then it's this. So you need to understand the difference of these two. The previous problem was the square of the x to the power of 2, but this one is a square root of x. Then this problem is y varies as a square root of x. That's the formula. We give you y and x, you put it back here. Now, radical 36 is 6, so divide both sides by 6. That gives you the k. You put the k back here for the equations. Y varies inversely as a square of x. Again, inversely means that x squared would be at the denominator. It's not directly anymore. So here you cross multiply to 4 times that. And you put it back here. And then the last one, y vary jointly. Jointly means you have more than one variable. Y vary jointly as x and cube of z means x and cube of z, and both are direct. And then they give you all the numbers, they give you y, x, and z to find your k. And these are, write the equation to describe t vary directly as k, c vary inversely as n, and t vary inversely as c4, and the other one is y vary directly as x, inversely as p4.